The South African Social Security Agency has identified more than 200,000 social grant beneficiaries who failed to disclose their income truthfully. The agency, in collaboration with registered credit bureaus, has identified beneficiaries who appear to be receiving income they have not reported. The agency says the review is due to personal circumstances of beneficiaries possibly having changed, rendering them ineligible to receive grant payouts. The agency says no one has been suspended as yet, but has also urged those individuals to come forward for review to clarify their income statuses. It adds that the measure is aimed at eliminating fraud in the system. To talk more about this, we're joined now by SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. 200,000 social grant beneficiaries have failed to disclose their incomes truthfully. How did you uncover this? It's a big number. Talk to us about some of the steps that need to happen.
Good evening, Paul, and thanks for having me. When you come and present yourself to a SASSA office to make an application for a social grant, there's a section in the form which you have to fill. This section basically compels you as a beneficiary that should your conditions change, you need to inform the agency. Sometimes people come and make an application, they are not working, but once their situation changes, the section compels them to come and inform the agency that they are now employed so that we can then be able to stop the grant. In this instance, we have a category of people who came, deliberately falsified their information. Others, their conditions changed and they chose or they elected not to inform the agency.
So the communication, there's been a lot of criticism around that it wasn't sufficiently communicated. How was it communicated? Do you think you could have done better on that? Because the complaints are many.
Look, one, we have not suspended any grant, so there cannot be a complaint that there's an individual who did not get their grant. Those 210 beneficiaries, they have just been flagged, and we have pushed WhatsApp or SMS messages to all of them to make sure that they understand the implication of them not coming or presenting themselves to SASSA. But one of the things that we also request is that when you change your cell number, please inform us so that we can then be able to communicate with you. Secondly, if there's a change in terms of your address, we also request you to inform us so that we can then be able to know where you are staying. However, in this instance, we know that there are situations, we came through situations where addresses of people changed and were not informed. In some instances, we know that people lose their cell phones. They do not do the SIM swap. They just decide to get a new number. But the onus is on the beneficiary to alert the agency if the information changes. But also we are obliged as an organization to communicate with our beneficiaries. That's why we are using all other available methods to make sure that we interact with them.
The Social Security Agency has also been slated for undertaking this entire fraud verification prevention process while being severely understaffed. Affected beneficiaries are saying that they're waiting for a very long time in queues while trying to get verified. What's going to happen there? Because that in itself is a huge problem.
We have taken steps which we need to do so that we address the matter. One, we are in the process of making sure that we get contract workers. We also want to make sure that we designate or we stagger the days in terms of when people come to the offices so that we have a specific day dedicated to people who are coming to do the verification processes, so that we don't necessarily have people who are coming to make an application for old age and other grants, and then we have the offices being clogged by many people who come to do so many things at the same time. So those are some of the measures as we go forward that we are going to do to make sure that we have a dedicated day. But secondly, we are also engaging with the councillors to make sure that there are various town halls which are made available to us, so that at least we can redirect those who are coming to do the verification process away from your normal SASSA office.
What about those who may complain that they perhaps didn't get their payment? What happens to them?
Look, from where we are, we know that payment were made. There's no payment which was stopped of a beneficiary, but we said beneficiaries can then call us on our toll-free number if there is a problem with their grant. But from where we are, we know that the payment file was processed. All what we simply did was to make sure that we identify these individuals to say the payment of those who have been verified would be done on the 4th day. It's another form of a communication, because we are saying, please present yourself to SASSA. And you know, I think I may have to mention this quickly, that a person come to SASSA, they present, they say, when we say they must present a 3 months bank statement, the 3 months bank statement has got zeros. However, when we interacted with the credit bureau or with the banks, you find out that there's a salary of an individual which is going into the account.
So what are the rules as you try and review the entire process? What are you hoping to really conclude as you look at each beneficiary and see whether or not they qualify?
We have the information at our disposal, but we don't just want to block or to stop a grant of an individual abruptly. Hence, we communicate with them that please present yourself and explain this income which we can be able to see flowing into your account. We have the information. Please come and explain to us so that we can see how we can deal with them. Unfortunately, currently, we are still cordial. We are discussing with individuals in a cordial manner, but after 3 months, if you do not necessarily come and present yourself, there are certain steps which you are going to do. One, we'll stop your grant permanently, but secondly, we'll then be left with no option to activate other mechanisms in terms of recovery. We'd have to make sure that we trace and make sure that we recover the money which belongs to the state.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. There you have it. The information coming out for grant beneficiaries there. SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi just talking about some of the steps that need to take place.